name's Akshay Vandari.
I'm Micah.
Yeah, so my name is Damani Barnes.
Hi, my name is B.
I'm a sophomore computer science major here at the University of Maryland.
I'm a sophomore. I'm a community health and anthropology double major.
I'm 21 years old right now. My birthday is June 14, 2000.
I'm a junior psychology major, Asian American Studies minor.
My first name, middle name, and last name are all Indian names, or Hindi names. I know the meaning of my first name, Akshay, and that means something along the lines of like eternal or invincible, kind of. So it's really cool. I've always really liked that. And then also my last name, Bandari, means something on sort of like shopkeeper. So that kind of shows a little bit about like my family's history.
My first name is Hebrew. It means like God. My middle name is English, think Victoria, and then Ferguson is Scottish, like son of Fergus.
So my first name, it means thoughtful, I think, in like the West African region. My middle name is Eric, which is my dad's first name. And then Barnes is, I don't know, probably some white dude's name, so yeah.
My full name is Vibali. Other circumstances I would say is Lebali. My uncle named me. He said Le is our family name, and so it means light of the awakened. And then my middle name Bao, it means precious. And then my first name V means beyond the knowledge or the unknown. So altogether, he said my whole name means the precious awakened is the known of the beyond knowledge of all time. And he said I was given that name because when I was born, he saw that I was very special and intelligent, so that's why he gave me that name.
My first name, Akshay, I guess like when you first look at it, there's no like words in English that kind of look like that. So like throughout the years, I've definitely gotten a lot of nicknames from people who were either too lazy to kind of figure out how to pronounce my name, or just like thought it was cool. Just like shortenings of like my name. Personally, I've never really liked nicknames. I've always preferred to be called by my full name.
My dad calls me Fancy because I used to dress up a lot when I was little. I had like a lot of wigs that I would wear and just like dress up for fun. So they call me Fancy because I was like stylish.
Thanks. In middle school, people call me D-Money. Also in middle school, my nickname, people called me D-Man. And that's where I got my Snapchat handle, D-Man Winning. From that, what else? Yeah.
When I was growing up, so like all my nicknames were longer than my actual name. Because usually you like see nicknames for like long names. So it was kind of funny in that way. But growing up, like people in my family would call me Vivi. But in like school, some people would call me Vio. Because V, my first name, and then my last name Lee, like they would put it together and be like Vio.
So I guess the traditional pronunciation of my name is Akshay, with kind of like that soft A sound. And then the way that I would pronounce it in classroom, ever since like, I want to say like kindergarten, it's been Akshay. I think that unlike a lot of other mispronunciations of my names, I didn't hate it as much. I feel like it felt kind of authentic, more authentic than some other ones. I've heard Akshay all the time, Ash K, like all those sorts of things. And so I felt like it struck a nice happy medium of being like easier to pronounce for people, but also like I didn't feel like I was giving away a part of me in the process.
I used to not like my name. I do like it now, but it's very gender neutral. And so a lot of people used to think that I was a boy at first. And this kind of just also relates to like being a Black woman. I feel like a lot of times I'm not seen as feminine, so like that used to affect me a lot. People didn't assume that I was like a girl on paper.
I feel like in elementary school, for some reason, like people would like butcher my name, but then like after like the 4th grade, people started getting it right. Domani, Domini, what else? Yeah, there's been some more ones.
Like I said, I was very shy in elementary school, still like very much an introvert. But we were doing presentations, like group project. After, she made me stand in front of the class and like hold the microphone and say your name, like. So I had to say my name is V, and she's like louder, and then like my name is V, and like repetitive, like my name is V, until it was loud enough for her. And like that moment for me, like having to say that, like I like in front of the whole class, I wanted to cry. Say that. So like anytime like people tell me to speak up or something, like I kind of get triggered. Like it brings me back to that moment because it was so terrifying.
You know, I feel like being born in the United States, not speaking Hindi very well, and just generally not having like the opportunity to spend a lot of time in India, often kind of leaves me straddled, like in between American culture, Indian culture. You know, am I Indian enough? Am I American enough? And I feel like my name kind of ties me to the Indian identity. You know, you see my name and it's like, you know, that's not English. Like that's something else. Like it's an Indian name. And so like, I feel like that's like very important to me, and it tethers me a lot to my culture.
I would say that Christianity is a big part of Black culture. My name is from the Bible. It's a man's name in the Bible. So I know that my parents definitely wanted me to have like a biblical name, so that kind of relates to my culture. It's interesting because like I feel like a lot of Black people's names are biblical, but like as I've grown up, I've definitely like distanced myself from religion. I feel like it's really when I'm in like a Christian space, like when I go to church and people know that my name is Micah, they're like, oh wow, like that means like God, like you're called by God. I feel like it has a lot more meaning, but I feel like outside that space, it's a lot more normal for Black people to just have biblical names. So I don't think that outside of church, at least, I haven't really felt like as close with religion because of my name.
I feel like when you hear about stories about like jobs, like more Black sounding names, like it affects like, I don't know, people just like, I don't know, there's like a negative connotation or like, I don't know, like that stuff is like, damn, like it's kind of hard, but overall, like on an individual basis, like I'd say it's fine. It's like more like systemic problems around like negative connotations about certain like sounding names. Yeah.
I did have one time in 2nd grade. I went to the nurse. She thought I was lying about my name. Like, what are you here for? What's your name? And I was like, oh, my name is V. Like, I hit my head, or like someone hit me, actually. And yeah, so like they sent me here, and she's like, what's your name? And I was like, Lee, and my last name is Lee, L-E. She didn't believe me, and like at 7 years old, I was like shocked. I was like, what do you mean? Like, why would I lie about my name when I just got knocked out by a basketball? You know? And then she literally pulled out like this like student directory or something, like a list of all the student names. She saw that was my name, and then she silenced. Like, she didn't even give me an ice pack. Yeah, it was like moments like this, like you realize like why there are some people who have like American names. Like,
I was visiting family in India, and I went to a Starbucks next to my cousin's apartment. And I went in there, and you know, I was like, it dawned on me after I ordered my coffee, I was like, oh wow, like I can just say my name. And so I said it how it's meant to be pronounced, and then I didn't spell it afterwards. And you know, 5 minutes later, someone came up, said my name how it was supposed to be, and it was like my coffee, and it said like the right letters, and it was just like, I don't know. It's moments like that when that don't really like mean a lot on their own, but when you contrast them to like kind of my experiences on a day-to-day basis, they do tend to mean a lot. I feel like there's been plenty of times where like you see a cast that's like all white and like credits roll, it's a bunch of like Chris's and Stevens, and it's just like that time that you like finally do see like a name that resonates with yourself. You know, you see your name, you see like your mom or dad's name, you see one of your cousins' names, a friend's name that like you hadn't seen before. Like that's so empowering. And I feel like the idea of our names, like representing ourselves, representing our cultures, representing our people, and like taking up space for ourselves, our culture, our people, is just like so powerful.
I guess a memory. Like again, I grew up, people thought I was a boy because of my name a lot. And I feel like the first time that someone called my name like beautiful, that definitely had an effect on me, because like that's not usually something, that's not like a masculine word. And I feel like that started my change of perspective about my name. I kind of thought of myself as that too. Once people started saying like, oh my god, that's a beautiful name. So it's a good memory about my name. I think that our names do take up space. I feel like especially in high school, as I felt more called to like activism. I went to a predominantly white high school. As I felt more called to activism in my school and changing things on like an administration level, I feel like when I would hear my name, whether like our headmistress would refer to me, like the fact that my name was known kind of meant that I was taking up space like in a predominantly white space. So like my name being known by leadership in that like system and in that space was very important to me.
First and last, no. I mean, my first and my middle. My first and my middle name, no. I've never thought I have different names. But my last name, like, what if I had a different last name? Having a more like, not like Muhammad Ali changed his name. Like pronunciation, like one of those type of things. Like I have to like explore, learn more about myself, more learn about like African culture, and then like develop a last name from that.
Like when I was trying to figure out how to do my signature, like I see people like doing their signatures, it's all like fancy and stuff. I was like, oh, I don't have a signature. Like I want a signature, and I asked my mom, I was like, how do you do a signature? And then she was like, you should ask your uncle. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, I asked him to make me a signature, and like ever since then, like that's how she signed her name like on any like official stuff. I was like, okay. And then one time when I was visiting him, I went to go see him, and we literally sat down, like pulled out paper and pen, and he's like, we went through so many different versions of how to write my name. I have the paper somewhere at home. I kept it. I was like, oh, this is how I found out how to write my signature. And like it was he very like emphasized a lot like the way it was written, like I would like write it, like I would like see like he would write like the way he was like, oh, you should write it like this, and I would do that, and he's like, oh, like you need to make this letter bigger, you need to fix this line. Like the strokes are very intentional, so I think like in that sense, like right, the importance behind not only your name, like its meaning, but also the way you present it, not only in verbally but also physically. It like in that sense, it takes up space because of how it can be interpreted. I think without a name, like it's like, who am I?